Hello and welcome to Heart of Hope's podcast. I'm your host Rachel Griffin, and today I'm joined with personal health and wellness coach Clare Nowell, and we will be talking about prioritising looking after ourselves and our well-being. So welcome, Clare.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Oh, fantastic. So firstly, if you would like to share with our listeners a bit about yourself and why you decided to become a personal health and wellness coach.
Okay, well, hello listeners. So my journey began a long time ago when I had my son was born. He's got learning difficulties. He's now 25, and I was set course on a very long journey with him. He's now in supported living and managing to volunteer, so that's great. It does all work out. Everything's a chapter. But yeah, so when he was younger, and we had to fight for his health all the way along. And eventually I got him into a residential special school, and I had all this knowledge and I wanted to help other parents like myself with all the knowledge, but I just couldn't work out how to do it. And to be honest, I was completely exhausted emotionally by the whole experience. So I just kind of took my time to think what I was going to do. And then, life goes on. I had another baby, and life and just juggling everything. And then it came to when he was 19, he went to a residential college here on the Isle of Wight, and he gave me a bit more time to think about what I could do. And I've always loved helping people. I've always seemed to be able to sort of take a step back from what's going on and help people see the bigger picture. And a friend of mine was a life coach, and she said, why don't you train? So I retrained as a life coach, and then specialised in became a mental fitness coach and a wellness practitioner, and now I'm a member of the United Kingdom and International Health Coaching Association. And I just feel passionately that we need to look after our health and wellness. Self-care is a priority and not a luxury, and I think we forget that, and we tend to put ourselves at the bottom of the heap. And I love working with families and parents with children with additional needs, because that's my lived experience, and I think I can give a lot back.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, it sounds like you've had a journey, but your journey brought you to where you needed to be, which is fantastic. So what would you say is your favourite part? I know you said obviously you really enjoy working with families that have children with additional needs, but in general, what is your favourite part about being a personal health and wellness coach?
I think it's walking alongside somebody with their journey and helping them get to where they want to be. Coaching is all about giving somebody the safe space to sort of thinking space, because often our lives are so busy we just don't allow ourselves that time. So it's giving that safe space for somebody and asking the right questions, maybe using a tool to help them work out what it is they need to do or where they want to be. And it's just seeing them find those answers. I love that. I love those sort of aha moments that people have, or at the end of a program, they've just made life-changing changes. And it's great.
Oh, fantastic. So with the work that you do, what tends to be a common difficulty for people when trying to help them prioritise well-being?
I think there's kind of two, but the main one is that people they tend to prioritise themselves as really low on the list, particularly when you've got a child. I think it was you who said once that the stress levels of raising a child with special needs is like being in the army or something. So it's we just from the moment they're born, really, you just prioritise their needs, looking after them, and your needs go right down to the bottom if you've becomes very stressful and can do, and if we don't look after ourselves, then we can actually become ill. So it's really important to keep ourselves and acknowledge that our looking after yourself is a priority, and it's okay, and you deserve that, and give yourself permission to be able to do that. Your self-care is a priority, and I think that's one of the hardest things for people to accept and to take on board, because we're just always pleasers. We put everyone else first as mums, and it's just once you acknowledge that and you think, yes, my needs are just as important, and if I look after my self-care, then I can look after everybody else. better than I have been, then I think that's a huge thing. And then the other one is time. People say, well, I haven't got time to invest in myself. And I appreciate that can be sometimes really hard when you're juggling a family and a child with very complex needs. But there are ways and means, and working along with a coach can really help you explore those ways. And you'll find that once you have put in the time or can find that bit of time to look after your self-care, and it energizes you, and then you're actually able to deal with everyday life and get more done anyway.
No, absolutely. I think those points you've made are really, really key, to be honest, because speaking personally myself, obviously prioritizing my well-being has always been a bit difficult because I'm a bit of a people pleaser. I like to make sure everyone else is okay and happy and everything's going well for everyone else. But also, I'm a bit time blind, and I've learned this from realizing about my ADHD, that I'll look at my calendar and people say, "Oh yeah, can you fit this in? Can you fit that in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course," because it looks massive. It looks like they've got all the time in the world. And then reality strikes, and I think, "Geez, maybe I put a bit too much in this calendar today." So it's a bit more challenging for me to step back and go, "No, it's not what you think it is. You haven't got as much time as you think you do," because then
But
I'm
then
overloading
you
myself.
actually, you've touched on something that's really important. Is that self-awareness. It's being able to be self-aware and stand back and actually check in with yourself, because a lot of people are so busy, it's just getting on with life and dealing with life, that you actually don't take that time to just stop and pause and check in with yourself. And self-awareness is key.
Yeah, definitely. So for parents that look after a child with developmental challenges, and I think the ones that have children that have a bit more complex needs, like having personal care needs, maybe communication difficulties, essentially children that need that bit of extra support, do you have any suggestions on ways they can take that time for themselves? Because I would say on that side of things, they probably think it's even more impossible to take some time for themselves. So do you have any suggestions on some things they could do?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is to actually, we can always create a bit of time, and is just talking to somebody, brainstorming with somebody. If you can work with a coach, that's fantastic. But I tend to sort of go backwards. So I'd ask people, what is it that energizes you? What are the things that you love doing? And get them to write a list of those things, and then work backwards and say, well, which ones could you fit in? Which ones maybe you can get some support here? Maybe how can we work that in? Even if it's just 5 minutes, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. I had one lady that every month she would go and have her nails done, and that was her thing. That was her time, her present for herself, and she that was non-negotiable in every month. And so that was lovely. So just it's helping somebody work out what's achievable, what's realistic for them, and putting those steps into place.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Okay. So we're talking about things that you can do. Do you have a preferred thing you like to do to prioritize your well-being?
So I live by the sea. So I love swimming in the sea. I go every day throughout the year. And I love walking on the beach. So for me, I swim every morning, and I don't even register the time in the morning. Sometimes this morning I got up at 6. And yeah, I love it. I swim with a group of friends, and to me that energizes. I'm quite sociable. I live on my own, so I like to sort of connect with people. And by sort of I tell people by 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning, I've got my exercise, been in the sea, and met some friends. So for me, that being and walking and being by the sea is what gives me energizes me.
Oh, fantastic. That's lovely. So I know like a lot of people talk about mindfulness as being brilliant. And I think for majority of people, it is a technique that works. But I do know that there are some people that struggle with that struggle to kind of shut off and kind of visualize. Some people struggle with visualization as well. So do you have any suggestions of other techniques that are quite good that aren't the same as that?
Well, mindfulness is about savoring a moment. It's a form of meditation. It's great so what we find we do with our busy lives, we become stressed, and we're activating our sympathetic nervous system, which is a fight flight mode, and that's what our bodies, short term it's good, long term it's not good for our health. So what all of these techniques, all of this well-being stuff, it's about activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and restore system of our bodies. So mindfulness is a great way of doing that, and it's a form of meditation, as I said, and it's just about savoring the moment or being in the present moment. And for a lot of people, they haven't got time to do that. So it's connecting. It's being able to connect something to an activity you do every day. So, for example, we all have showers. So rather than just standing in the shower thinking about all 101 things you've got to do that day, actually stop. It's about getting out of your head and that mind chatter and sort of dropping into the moment and savoring what you're doing and being present in the moment. So actually, when you're in the shower, feel the sensation of the water on your skin, really focus in on that. Maybe you're washing your hair, feel the sensation of moving your hands through your hair, or the smell of the soap, really sort of lather it in and just breathe in the smell of the soap, and or use all of your bodily sensations and senses to sort of savor the moment. So that, that's something anyone can do because when they're in the shower. Or it might be everyone cleans their teeth, so you can do the same thing. We have a mindfulness teeth brushing session where you just focus on the sensation of the toothbrush in your mouth, or the feel of the water, or listen to the water dripping from the tap. So there's all sorts of ways. It's about connecting to an everyday, something you do every day. So other people, I know someone who does it while they're boiling the kettle. They just stand there and they will deep breathe. So breathing is free therapy. I like to think that we don't breathe properly. A lot of us, when we're stressed, we shallow breathe, and what we really need to do is deep breathing, which really it gets all the energy and the oxygen into the cells. So I just tell people, just take 10 really deep breaths, and that helps to trigger your parasympathetic nervous system into the rest and restore. So and that's free. So you could do that anytime. Maybe when you go to the toilet, just sit on the toilet and take 10 deep breaths, or when boiling the kettle. So it's about finding or if you go for a walk, to have a mindful walk, really sort of savor what you can think, you can see, what you can hear. And going barefoot on the ground is a great one for grounding and just feeling the sensations of the ground underneath. But it's finding that thing in your day that you could do alongside it, and everyone can do that if they want to.
Yeah, and I think that sounds brilliant, because I think when people feel they need to stop and do nothing and focus on it, they're less likely to focus on it, if that makes sense. Whereas like with giving something linked to it, like an everyday thing, but just getting somebody to focus on what they're actually doing, being in the body. Because I'm always in the mind, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. But it's very difficult to slow down and be like, no, be in your body right now, Which is why there's lots of random cups everywhere sometimes, because I'm just in my head all the time. I do think that's very important.
And gratitude is a great way to start your day as well. I know it's slightly off mindfulness, but it's sort of when you get out of bed and put your feet on, be grateful for the things that are things in your life, and that starts you off your positive. You'll be a positive mindset, and then you might go do something mindful, and then you're really set up for the day.
Oh,
there's a lot of work. I could talk about gratitude for a long time.
No, it is key. It's very important, because sometimes we lose sight of it, don't we, when things are tough.
Yeah.
But actually, everyone has their own challenges and things to overcome, but we all have something we can be grateful for. So
even if it's just as small as a cup of coffee, and the research shows that if you write down 3 things that you're grateful for in your day, and again savor the moments, don't just write them down, go back and savor the moment. And it might be as simple as just having a cup of coffee, it might be a nice bath, it might be a chat you had with a friend, it might be listening to a favorite track. It can be very simple. If you do that every day for 3 weeks, that research shows that improves your general overall well-being.
And I think that's key to my next question, actually, when you say about consistently doing something for so many weeks, is about maintaining a routine. So often we're all like geared up at first, saying, yes, we're going to commit to this and do it. And the first week goes well, say the next few days go well, and then all of a sudden something happens or a challenge comes in, and then it drops off the diary. So do you have any thoughts on how parents can keep up with something if it's good for their well-being? It's keeping it in that priority box, isn't it?
It is, and it's very hard to get like you say, slip off that list and forget about, just, oh, I'll wait, I can wait, I can wait. I think it's about, it's about connecting to your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to why are you prioritizing in your self-care? Maybe you've got a health challenge. Maybe you're very stressed. And it's just going back to that why are you doing that? So that when you have those moments and you don't feel like you want to do it, check in with your why, and hopefully that will sort of spur you on, just to keep going. And start off small. Don't we all go on these courses or listen to things, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the other, and then we crash and burn, quite quickly. So just make things achievable. Start off small. It takes about 3 weeks to sort of get a habit going, a new habit, and then another 3 weeks for it to become automatic. So don't overload your things. Make it something that you can achieve, so that you'll have that sense of achievement at the end, and you'll be able to easily fit it into your day. And don't give up, but be kind to yourself. Self-compassion is, and self-awareness, again, going back to that self-awareness, and maybe having somebody, a friend or a partner that you are accountable to, that you ask them to check in with you, and, are you still doing it? And if you're not, ask them to ask you what's getting in the way. These are sort of things that I would ask if I was coaching. And, but being accountable to someone is quite important.
Oh, fantastic. So I think the other thing I wanted to talk about is for parents who experience managing meltdowns with their children. I think staying kind of calm and not matching that energy can be quite difficult sometimes, especially if it's a regular occurrence. What would you suggest to be a good technique to use to help calm and regulate, especially if the week has been particularly overwhelming?
Well, I'm going to go back to breath work, because I think that's amazing. Just, just keep breathing. We don't do those really deep breaths. Think of the things that, go back to that list of things that energize you, and have a look at that list and think, what could I do this weekend? What could I get some help in? Can I get some time for myself? What could I do to lift that, to help, to activate that parasympathetic nervous system? But just breathe, or do some meditation, or watch a funny film, whatever it is that was on your list of things that energize you. Just have it handy. I call it like a resilience backpack. Have a look at it and think about what is in there I could do this weekend that could help me. And ask for help. Ask for help. People like to be, one of the 5 steps to wellness is to give. So if you're asking for help, people like to help people, so it's giving. And they'll want to help you. So, as Brits, particularly in Britain, we want to have a stiff upper lip. We don't need to ask for help, but actually it's important to recognise when you need that support and to reach out, and people want to help.
Oh, fantastic. And I think that is so important, is asking for help. And even if it is just somebody to speak to, just saying, look, I just need someone to hear me. Like, let me let it all out,
Yes.
Really take a big burden off of the shoulders, is to just
Yeah.
let all of the emotions out.
Yeah. And scream into a pillow. That's always a really good one.
I like that one. That's the handy one. And you don't need to bother anyone with that one. You just grab a pillow and
a really good way of releasing all the tension and toxins from your body.
Fantastic. So, Claire, I thought to close, it'd be really nice if you could do a mindfulness technique with us, maybe a bit of visualization.
Mm-hmm.
To finish, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Okay, so I thought I would do, it's called the 5 senses visualization. So you can do this anywhere you are. If you particularly works well if you're out on a walk, but you can do it in a room. So let's start off by taking a few deep breaths. So I'd like you to breathe in for 5 and then take a big breath out. I'll count you in. So let's, after 3, 1, 2, 3, in for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In for 5 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully that's helped your bodies relax a little bit. And now I would like to have a look around the room, or if you're on a walk or wherever, and look at 5 things you can see. Just name them as you're looking around. And really look at them. Don't just sort of label them. Have a look at the colour, have a look at how they're made, the form. Maybe it's something in a room, the light's reflecting off it, or if you're outside, it's the trees, it's the flowers, it's nature. And spend a few minutes doing that. And then focus on your hearing. And think about 4 things you can maybe hear. Maybe if you're inside, that might be something that you could be some noise from outside, it could be a dishwasher, it could be background noise of the kids or a TV or something. Or if you're outside, that might be the birds singing, it might be an aeroplane, it might be the noise of the wind. And now think about 3 things you can feel. If you're sitting down, it might be the feeling of your body in the chair. If you're outside, it might be the wind on your skin. And then focus in on your smell. What can you, 2 things you could smell? And the last one is 1 thing you can taste. What can you taste in your mouth? Okay, so hopefully that stopped you all thinking about your every to-do list and everything that was going on in your mind and made you completely focus on that activity. And that's what mindfulness is all about. It's just focusing on the here and now and exactly what you're doing in that precise moment.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Claire, for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. And I think families are going to take a lot from this podcast, even if it's just that they can take 5 minutes for themselves or 10 minutes for themselves every day. I think they'll really benefit. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, take care.
Bye.